How you all doing? Welcome back to the Herbie Design Co workshop. Welcome back to another episode of Business Bites. This one, build to sell, sell to build. Sounds confusing, doesn't it? When I started out, I didn't have the money to invest in endless amounts of materials. What I would do is I would build an initial product. I spoke previously about the fire drums that I was building. They were a very minimal investment. One 44-gallon drum cost me $8. Chop that in half. A can of spray paint was another $20 because I was buying high temp paint. I could have a fire drum done for, let's call it, I think I got 2 fire pits out of a can of spray paint. So we were $20 into a fire drum. I was selling them for $60. It was above what everyone else was selling, but it was about selling quality. I went to the extra level of refinishing the drums after they were burned out and after I burnt out all the oil. I went to the effort of cleaning them up and repainting them in a high temp paint so they would last. It's a 44-gallon drum. Most people would think, so what, cut it in half, hand it over, there's a fire pit done. For me, it was about going to that extra level. Once I'd done a couple of those, I leveraged the free marketing platforms like Facebook Marketplace, like Gumtree, like Craigslist for those in the US. And I just used the photos I had of something I'd already made and put that up there. When it came to other things like chopping boards and other pieces like that, it was actually friends and family that I made stuff for, or myself. I made a chopping board for myself. I used a photo of that to sell to other people, but I never sold that chopping board. That chopping board still sits on my kitchen bench today. Build to sell means that you're building something to sell it, but you're selling it to build another one. So that's where I come to the build to sell, sell to build. Like I said, I build to be able to advertise. I build to be able to photograph, and that is my base, and to be able to market and build the next item. Everything I advertised as made to order. So while there were photos of stuff online that people could see, they never actually purchased the product they saw on there, unless it was something generic and straightforward like a fire pit. Chopping boards, as we all know, are all very different. And especially if you're using reclaimed and recycled timbers, they can all look really different just with one stick of timber. By building to sell and then selling to build, I wasn't having to outlay large amounts of money on materials. It meant that when somebody bought something, they'd pay a deposit. I always take 50% deposit up front. They paid a deposit. That deposit paid for the material for their product. And I still do that today. I still do that with my custom furniture builds. I take a 50% deposit. I just built a office desk and a large round dining table for a customer, both using reclaimed and recycled black butt. Now that recycled black butt I bought milled just because of the time and the turnaround that I needed to do it in. I bought that all S4S, so all milled on all 4 sides and completely square. It cost me about $500 in materials, but the deposits that customer paid covered the material cost. So for me, I wasn't out of pocket, and that's where you need to be. You need to be at a point where you're not out of pocket or out of pocket too much on a product. That then allows you, by taking that deposit, you can build, you're not outlaying a lot. When they pay the other half, that's your profit, that's the payment for your time and whatever profit margin you put on your product. You can then take that and reinvest it back into your business, reinvest it back into a new set of tools, a new set of whatever it is you need, replacing consumables like glues, saw blades, that sort of stuff that are going to get used all the time. Sandpaper, we go through endless amounts of that. Build to sell, sell to build. is what's going to get you across the line without having to throw a lot of money and a lot of capital investment into your business and into building your products when you don't have a buyer lined up. Build to sell, sell to build. It's what's going to get you across the line. It's what's going to save you outlaying massive amounts of money on materials for a project, for a product that you don't know yet whether it's going to sell or not. By putting out a sampler, by putting out the feelers, and by building it after you sold it, it allows you to actually test that water a little bit more. Till next time, keep building, keep selling, and enjoy a beer.